and welcome to the Uninformed College Football Rants podcast. We are back this week to cover some big games, and we have a guest, recurring guest.
Texas superfan cousin John Covert.
Yep. Now we must begin with my standard, very biased, personal top 10. Number one, Georgia. Okay, after what they did to Tennessee, I think this is obvious. 2, Michigan. They're a good team. They're going to beat Ohio State. 3, TCU. I mean, they're undefeated. 4, Ohio State. I mean, they're also undefeated. Then the people who are close. 5, Tennessee. 6, Ole Miss. 7, Clemson. 8, LSU. 9, USC. 10, Oregon. Runners-up, 11, Alabama, and 12, Notre Dame. What do you think?
Where was TCU on there?
3.
I think that's good. I don't know.
John already, from the beginning of the call, he starts managing expectations.
I think if Alabama's name wasn't Alabama, they wouldn't be ranked that high.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Now, our first question on the show, is Notre Dame back? I mean, they beat the number 4 Clemson by 21, and they're 6-3. They took some interesting losses to Marshall and Stanford, but they just beat Clemson.
So, John, my theory is okay, it is hard to be a head coach. And, Marcus Freeman inherited a bunch of talent. They had a little trouble keeping the wheels on, putting the pieces together. But, there's some talent, and they're kind of starting to get it together a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, being a college coach is way more than just being a good defensive coordinator. You got to be a CEO of a company, and he got thrown to the wolves to start the season.
Yeah, I mean, the horseshoe is getting thrown
into
and they played well there. Pit.
But also, Clemson is awful.
Oh, do you share Mean Uncle Brent's biases against Clemson and Coach Sweeney?
No, I just don't think they're very good this year. Ukulele isn't very good.
Right, totally overrated. Yeah. How do you keep that guy in?
I don't know. The Austin Westlake product needs to get his playing time.
Yeah? Is that the kid who they put in and was actually good?
Yeah, he's a true freshman from Westlake. That was number 1 QB in the country. And I think he's been good every time they put him in. I don't know why they refuse to start him.
Yeah, absolutely. Now on to our next topic, Texas TCU.
Okay, John, tell us the truth. What's going to happen?
So we're going to win. Texas is going to win easy. TCU, the only thing that's scary is TCU has injured the starting quarterback in 7 straight games. In 7 straight games, the team TCU is playing has had a different quarterback finish the game than started.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not a good stat.
But you truly believe that Texas is gonna prevail? How does the game unfold, and how's the matchup? What's the dynamic with the matchup?
Well, Texas is 7.5-point favorites. I don't know how, but they are. It's 2 good offenses. They're the opposite. So Texas gets a 21-point lead in every single game in the first half, and then either blows it or wins barely. And TCU has been losing by double digits in 6 of their 9 wins this year, and then they win every time in the second half. So it's 2 very different teams. So I think Texas needs to get a 49-point lead, and then maybe we can hold on to that
So
one.
here's what I think. So I think that if Texas shows up, Quinn Ewers and Bijan just play lights out, just absolutely go off, Texas is going to win. But they have to win by double digits.
They need a 21-point head
lead.
start at halftime.
And their defense needs to keep it together. They can't let TCU and Max Duggan start scoring. If that
Correct.
happens,
Max
they're
Duggan
just
is
gonna
really
lose.
good on the ground too. That's what scares me. He's a really good runner.
And to be honest, Texas defensive line, it's not one of the top tier in the country.
No, but I don't think TCU's offensive line is very good either. I think both teams want to be run-first offenses, and whichever team wins the rushing battle will win the game.
Yeah.
So, John, we haven't had that much eyes on Texas the past couple of weeks. What's the state of the program on the field?
It's good. There's some rumblings of some injuries in the secondary. But we went into Manhattan, into the Little Apple, and walked out with a victory over the number 13 team. Me and Uncle Brent was in the crowd for the game.
Yeah, that's solid. But now on to our next topic. What's going to happen in the Pac-12?
The real question is, who cares?
I think.
I'm just kidding. USC handled last night, right?
Yeah, but that's Colorado, and Colorado is terrible.
Yeah, they're not.
The challenge for USC is the next couple weeks they've got number 12 UCLA, number 20.
Yeah, who would have thought that the UCLA game could have been like a top 10 matchup?
Right. Or that Notre Dame would put the wheels back on, or that Oregon would recover from the smackdown at Georgia. But
Do they play Oregon in the regular season?
No.
So that would be the Pac-12 championship?
Yeah.
Yeah, so USC controls its destiny, but it's kind of an uphill climb. And the defense, you've seen Grinch defenses, right? So
Very bend but don't break.
It's not just the Grinchy style where you have to attack and be opportunistic, but then you create big risks, and sometimes they're just asleep, and so big plays happen. It's also that USC just doesn't have size, speed, or talent in the defense from years of bad recruiting under Clay Helton. So I just don't think that they have the horses to beat a UCLA. I think they're going to lose 2 out of the next 3. And I think Oregon's going to advance. If Oregon keeps the wheels on, I think they got a shot at the CFP.
Okay.
Yeah,
now I think it's
so.
Time for my big rant. So, UCLA. Let's start with them. Okay, they beat Utah at the Rose Bowl. That was a big win. But was Utah really on their guard? Best game? Absolutely not. They beat a Utah who was just having a stroll in the Rose Bowl, and UCLA took advantage of them. Then they go into Autzen and get beat up. So I think that USC is going to be ready for this game, and I think that they're going to win. Now on to Notre Dame.
Well, just let me know how the mix on it or something.
Notre Dame is I feel like they're a pretty good team, but the question is, can they win? USC just has that offense that's just going to beat that defense. I think they win the next 2 games. Now in the North, we have Oregon, who, if they can keep it together against Washington, I think that they're going to win. But,
and they play today, right?
Yeah. I think that they're going to beat Washington, but it's going to be closer than most people
UW's
expect.
not a joke.
No, their quarterback's leading the country in passing.
And so the answer to your question, who cares about the Pac-12, is us, because we're Trojans fans.
And then,
this year the Pac-12 is actually pretty. There's more than just one team that could walk out there.
Yeah, both Texas, Oklahoma, USC, and UCLA are abandoning their weak conferences.
Right.
Hey, I hear Mean Uncle Brent skulking in the background. Is he available to share his perspective on the TCU Texas game?
He may be. He was in the background because he's on the phone as well.
Okay.
He may be making a guest appearance on another podcast.
Very well.
Yeah. Now, Yeah, so I'm not done yet. And,
There's more rants?
Yeah, let's talk about Utah. I think that Utah, they had some shaky games like Florida and UCLA, but what I think is going to happen is they are going to go into Autzen Stadium and they're going to beat Oregon, which leads to my conference championship prediction for the Pac-12. I think it's USC-Utah. Honestly.
Bold prediction. What are your other discussion topics?
LSU. What's going to happen there?
Do we think they're actually good?
No. Alabama just let their guard down in that one game. And
Did you watch the game? That was a pretty awesome two-point conversion.
Yeah.
Say that again, John?
That two-point conversion that Brian Kelly pulled off at the end was pretty ballsy.
Yeah, you got to give the guys credit for that.
Yeah.
And he used the exact play that Clemson beat Alabama with in the national championship a couple years ago, which is awesome.
And the one thing is that I only think that LSU is good in one domain. That is at Tiger Stadium at night. That's basically, somehow they always seem to win in that setting.
Well, so I think LSU doesn't really have very many tough games left, right?
No. But, watching that Tennessee game, that was, a little iffy.
Oh, yeah, they got the Tennessee-LSU game?
Yeah. Now
LSU got stomped.
Yeah, now on to Tennessee. Is Tennessee done?
No.
I think Tennessee is about to get a cakewalk in the playoff, which is lame if you ask me. But
yeah.
They have no games left that are tough. They don't have to play in the SEC championship game, and they're just going to be handed a spot in the playoffs.
And further, John, what do you think of this thesis that Georgia is the new Alabama, and if you lose to them, no one counts it against you if you're going to, be 2, 3, or 4?
Yeah, absolutely. Except now it's a little different because now that's true, but now Tennessee doesn't even have to play. It's one thing when a team would lose to Alabama in the SEC championship game or whatnot, but now Tennessee doesn't even have to play in that game.
Yeah.
You're rewarded for not playing in your conference championship.
Yeah. Now on to picks. Okay, for our first pick, what is it? Oregon-Washington. Who's going to win?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oregon. I hope Washington.
Agree.
At this point, I'm just rooting for the utmost chaos. And last weekend was a good start to just as much chaos as possible.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close. I'm going to go with Oregon 34-31.
I like that. Bo Nix has been really good.
Yeah.
Shockingly.
I know.
But he's going to get injured in the Utah game. I'm just telling you.
Don't tell him that.
And now on to the next pick. Alabama-Ole Miss. Who's going to win that one?
I think Ole Miss. I think Alabama teams aren't used to this, and I think they're like, what's the point of even playing anymore?
You?
I'm going to go with Alabama, and it's just because it's unimaginable to me that Lane Kiffin could beat Nick Saban.
That is true, but this is also Lane Kiffin's Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So, I'd be tempted to agree with that one. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go, I'm going to say Alabama 28-17.
What about your TCU-Texas pick?
And now for the TCU-Texas game. Who's going to win, John? What's the score, too?
Texas is going to win 45-24.
You?
Wow. I'm going to say Texas win 35-31.
You know what? My heart says Texas, but my head says TCU. Going with my heart in the past year has not in general gone well for me unless I've picked Michigan. So, I hate to say it, but I'm going to go TCU 41-35.
Wow.
Boo.
Wow.
Yeah, that is it.
I think there will be a lot of points no matter what.
Yeah. That is it for this week. We will be back next week for some other big games.